I'm Caroline, and this is my Universal Design for Learning lesson plan, and it's all about the letter C. The materials that I need will be notebook paper, pencils, pre-drawn pictures that I will make prior to the lesson, and a pre-made chart that I'll use later on in the lesson. The lesson objective will be, given a set of pictures and words, the students will categorize each set into the soft C and hard C categories at 90% accuracy. Next, I will engage my students in an activity involving the letter C. The students will turn and talk to their partners about different words that begin with the letter C and what they think that it means to begin with a hard C or a soft C, whether it's right or wrong. I will then bring my students back to me by saying hocus pocus, and my students will respond by saying everybody focus. I will then ask the students to tell me what they talked about with their partners and then follow up with giving them positive feedback on what they told me, what they thought hard C and soft C was, and then explaining what it really means to be a soft C or a hard C and why, because there are specific rules as to why some words have the k sound and some letters have the s sound. The standard is from the Alabama Course of Study for 2nd grade Foundational Skills for Phonics and Word Recognition, which is 20E, which is Identified Words with Inconsistent but Common Spelling Sound Correspondences, RF 2.3E. For the anticipatory set, I would start my lesson by sharing the student-friendly objective. This explains to the students what they'll be learning that day and what is specifically expected of them. The student-friendly objective states, today I will learn about the letter C. I will discuss the different sounds that the letter C makes. I will categorize words that start with the sound that makes the letter C. The sounds that this letter C makes. I will categorize words that start with the letter C into soft C and hard C categories. I will also categorize pictures that start with the letter C into soft C and hard C categories. I will also play a matching game with words and pictures that start with the letter C. Lastly, I will list the words on the paper that start with the letter C and categorize them onto paper. I'll present my content with a video called Francine's Hard C's and Soft C's. And this is just a fun video that I found to it's funny, and the students always like funny things, so it kind of explains, she explains how she's mad because she doesn't understand why sometimes it makes the k sound and sometimes it makes this sound. And then she goes through why it does that and why it says that. And so that'll be my first presentation of the content. The second presentation of the content I will show them different pictures of the letter C. Like one would be circus, and that's with a soft C, and then one would be cactus, and that would be with hard C. I'll show them some different pictures before they do the activity. And then the students will be strategically grouped into small groups according to their specific level of learning, because there's some higher level of learning and then some lower level of learning. So I want to be able to reach all levels in this, so I will break them up into small groups. Once I break them up into small groups, I want to engage the students in a fun activity. The first activity will be with the pre-made chart that I previously had talked about, and this is when we will separate the pictures and words into the soft C and hard C categories. Now I will make pre-made words and pictures that will go in the chart, and it'll be a big chart, and they'll just be able to post on each side which category they go into. And I'll, depending on the level of learning, I will aid them in any way they need to, and I will be right there to assist them in any way they need to. But this is just a fun way to bring this activity into a hands-on activity. Then after that, they will also play a matching game, which is just fun. They'll take all the pictures and all the words because they correspond with each other, and they'll flip them over. And once they do that, they'll play a matching game just like you do when you're a little kid. You pick up a word, and then you pick up a picture. If they don't match, you flip them back over, and the next person is the next person's turn. So that's just another hands-on, fun way activity to do. And then the next thing they'll do is they'll have a quiz. I'll give them a sheet of paper and a pencil, and they'll write their name, and I will give them a specific word. I will say, what is the word car, a soft C or a hard C, and they'll list it hard C, or soft C. And that'll be their quiz for the day to show me what they learned throughout the lesson. Also, for multiple means of expression, the students will create a journal. They'll talk amongst each other and come up with their own list of C words that maybe we haven't discussed, and maybe that they could come up with on their own and create their own journal to keep at home or in their desk at school, or just kind of something to refer back to if they ever get confused with this, and something they can just refer back to from what they learned from the lesson. Then the next activity I'll do was I will assign a special voice to each student, such as like a mad voice, a sad voice, an angry voice, a dog voice, a cat voice, any type of voice I will assign to each student in the group, and then I'll give them a specific word, and they have to go around and say that specific C word in the voice that I give them, and that's just another fun activity for them to do to express what they have learned in the lesson. I think this is a really, really good project, like lesson to do, because it's really hands-on, and I really feel like it reaches to each student, and my hope is that each student in my class will benefit from the Universal Design for Learning lesson, because I want them to be able to apply what they learned from this lesson and put it in their everyday vocabulary, and I hope that each need is met for every specific style of learning.